and trading. Just gonna go over Tuesday's trade real quick. Only thing I was really watching was Square on my main screen. I had the 3 minute and the 5 minute pulled up. This is the 5 minute. Uh, these notes I just do either right when it happened or after the fact to just remind me what I was thinking of during that time. But I was watching. First, I always keep the triple Qs right down in this window and the SPY right here, and they were both really strong opening 15 half hour, but I was watching the triple Qs and right into this daily resistance right here with that upper shadow. And when this was giving me these upper shadows in the wicks and this over under right here on this massive volume, this is really what gave me the confidence and conviction to want to take this trade. I got short right at 77.98, 99, and I wanted to risk high day, but zoom out a little bit, and right here, these wicks. So that's really what I was risking. It was 78.45, I think I actually had in my stop. But anyway, I was risking a little above that and took my first third off 77.70, so that was a quick 30 cents. I always scale out maybe a little too soon, but market was really strong and I just didn't really trust it, so it was 77.70 and then 77.54. I took my last third off in halves, so I covered a half of my last third position at 77.04, but then I had to leave the desk, so I set my stop literally right at this top wick, which was 77.83, got stopped out, and the aim for my last cover was right down here because this was already looking strong. The intraday levels bounced off of it, and it was right at 76.25. It still wouldn't have got filled here, so I would have got stopped out here anyway, but those were the levels I was watching just because overall market was strong. But what really gave me the confidence to take that trade was also Netflix. This spiked up a lot, and I was going to take this short at like 317, risking right above this, but I also thought this could have just based right on this high and this high, so I was definitely worried. Didn't really want to get in too soon, and it never really retested the highs again. I don't know. It just wasn't looking that A plus to me. So since it collapsed right at like 950 on high volume, it was already coming back towards the open. So this collapsing was one of the first stocks that started collapsing on a pretty decent move up. So that weakness gave me the confidence to take Square short. So again, I really waited until the over-under on this high volume. I'll just show you the 3 minute. And even right here, these wicks were just too good to pass up on the high volume again. And that was Tuesday's trade on Square. Other overnight hold trade, this was on the 7th. So from Wednesday to Thursday, I didn't trade anything pre-market. I was pre-market or at the open, always looking for a short. Short signal never came. So after this very strong day in the market, I was definitely looking. This was always a good pattern for earlier in the year, and if you definitely had this hold all the way in after hours, it would usually at least gap up to this 330, maybe even 329. So I went for it, not risking a day trade, so definitely saw the risk to reward, but this is something I'm probably not going to do again because of the stress that went into it. I wasn't even risking that much, but I went to bed thinking it was going to be Christmas morning when I woke up, but it gapped down, and I was literally awake from 5 o'clock in the morning to like 6 o'clock, just on my phone watching the markets. And when this was gapping down, the markets were, let's see, they were also gapping down heavily. And as soon as it broke this support, that's when I sold. And I just wanted to get out, go back to sleep. Awful trading. So that's definitely a trade I'm not going to think about taking again. Even though it came back, rallied, could have sold for break even. It wasn't the worst setup in the world, but with the uncertainty in the market and the stress that it caused, probably not going to be taking that trade again for a while. Friday little scalp session I had going on here. I didn't trade anything pre-market. I was really wanting to take this trade short here because all these wicks were right near the red to green, but uh, I just couldn't really trust it. So I thought it could have just kept going. It was forming a tight base. The market, it looked like this is the line for the daily 200 days, so it could have bounced off there, which didn't make me want to get short because if it was going to bounce off there, good chances are this was going to keep going, retest 318, but looked like it was going to bounce, so it didn't touch anything all morning. And then I just so happened to get back to my computer. It was right around here, the market, well, at least Netflix started just really going down pretty slowly on high volume. And if all this volume's coming in, I would have liked to see a bigger wash, but didn't happen. So on the 5 minute, volume this volume came in, and as soon as that came in, the over under happened at 299.60, and then I just fished my order right at 354, and I was just wanting to at least get to this 304, this bottom right here, but so I put a limit order at 303.84, and it got to 303, and then it started bouncing up and down in between 303 and 302. So when that was happening, I also had a stop limit right at the or the stop order right at the low of the day, so it was 299.5, but when it was just bouncing around this 303, 302, I just moved my stop order up to 302.66, I think, and it just stopped me out. So uh, I was only risking $1. I made $2, so a 2-to-1 risk to reward on a very high probability setup. These two volume, especially especially this green bar volume, massive volume, almost the most of the day. So it was a very high probability setup. There was absolutely no emotion into this, which I absolutely loved. Knew where I was going to get out before, knew where I wanted my profits. The profits never got there, so you definitely got to adjust as the time's going on. Because if I still had my order at 303.84, still wouldn't have got filled. Maybe it'll base here and keep going throughout the day, but uh, with the markets already falling as much as they have, who knows? But it wasn't just this volume, it was also the triple Qs. They were getting next to this daily support, and even the SPY was starting to base a little bit right where I got long. So I knew it wasn't going to be that big of a winner, but when you get that high probability of a trade, you take it. Little hindsight trading right now. I was watching Square on the earnings. Uh, Another strong day and bad earnings, so it's chopping around. I don't like trading after hours, so I was waiting until the morning in the open, and I always have the 3 minute and the 5 minute with the 200-day pulled up. And what do you know, right at the open, it came up and absolutely just smacked the 200-day and instantly fell apart. So I was always waiting for a bounce. Uh, Probably should have fished an order right out at 80 and 80.50, but who knows? Because most of the time, gap downs are always good shorts. I have it about 80% of the time in my spreadsheets that it's a good short. So I was just wanting at least another retest of 80, and then I would have gotten long, but it definitely just collapsed way too hard. Formed a little wedge down here, so I could have got short on the break here, and it was retesting this low, which is always a good sign, but I was away from the desk, and yeah, it just never gave that wonderful of a pop on volume. All these bars, there's no real volume anomaly, and yeah, it was just a hard trade to get into. But if you could risk, uh, well, if you wanted to short and try to top ticket, definitely this 200-day 5 minute moving average, and at least risk right above this high here. So that's a high of 81. So you could have even risked 81.1, 81.2, and it would have been a great trade. But I just didn't have that confidence yet, even though it ended up being a beautiful 5 point fader, 6 point fader. We all know you're not going to get all that profit, but even if you wanted to, you could have just got short here, uh, taking off in thirds along the way. So even this low right here could have been a good first third to stop out at, or you take a profit at. And then another good third would have been this low right after the earnings release. And if you can, just hold on for a home run, maybe even hold overnight since it closes week on an earnings gap down. So that's my first weekly recap. 3 trades, 2 winners, 1 loser. And going to be doing this weekly now. So if you have any questions, follow me on Twitter, go to my website, and thanks for watching.